Hello everyone, it's Matt here and welcome to the final vlog of 2019, the one for December. Now obviously it's most of the way through December and it's actually past Christmas, so it is effectively a Christmas vlog. I'm in the Christmas spirit, I'm wearing my Christmas sort of pullover, um, and everywhere else is doing a Christmas video, so you know, is mine for this year. Um, First of all, happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah. It is the quite intensive month of celebrations for quite a lot of different cultures. So, season's greetings to you, as the phrase goes. Um, Obviously, as most people do, I've received quite a lot of chocolate. I've delved through about 3 items of it already, but not big items. I'm leaving those till later. One of them I'm actually saving to something next year, which I'll come on to later, which isn't on my notes, which I kind of forgot to do. Um, so I'm going to go through some self-bought prezzies. The first one and the big one, and I'm going through these in a chronological order, is I've got a new CPU and motherboard I've actually bought, and I'll bring it up because I have not done any planning, rather foolishly. And okay, so it is a Ryzen 7 3800X, and I can't remember the motherboard. I think it's a Tough Gaming X 570 Plus. There's a box over there, um, and the reason I bought that combination is because the 3800X was not much more expensive than the 3700X, even though the 3700X was on offer. Um, so I was just like, I might as well get that little bit of extra headroom and quality and go for the 3800X. The Tough Gaming, the reason I bought that was because the feature set of that was effectively the same spec as some of the higher ones, and that was a £150 board, and the some of the higher up ones were like 350, 400, and effectively the gimmicks were some more lighting and some 3D printable fan covers. Wow, that's not really a feature set that you know I'm looking for. So I've gone for a slightly cheaper board. Still got the same overclocking features and everything else, but might not be as fully featured in that sort of respect. The one issue I do have with it compared to the older install I have, which was the Crosshair Hero 6 and my 1800X, was that the RAM's actually clocked lower in this than it is by that. And I think this is on 36X, and the old setup was 3133. There's a bit of a loss of speed there. In terms of performance, there's not actually a great deal of loss in terms of RAM speed. Um, there is a boost in terms of performance, and I do actually have. There was somewhere. I do have it here still. Um, it's not there. Shoot. I did have some notes somewhere about the performance increase between them, and I think on the times by benchmark, it's about a 400 points increase from changing to the new form. There's been a few other issues as well, like Office 2010 wouldn't actually validate using the old license case. I think Microsoft probably blocked it, so I've just bought Office 2019 instead from £10 off Amazon. It works, and it gets the job done. Um, Been a few Bricklink orders as well. So who doesn't place Bricklink orders? I've placed a few. Um, the whole Lego taking over Bricklink will possibly have a bit of an impact on me. The biggest impact for me, from my perspective, will be the loss of the trained brick store for all the 3D printed drive rods and everything else. Hopefully, he'll be able to move to a different platform, possibly one of his own websites, which should be even better, because that's what Big Ben Bricks does. So it might be that, you get something from that perspective. Hey, if Big Ben Bricks and Train Bricks merge, so you get Ben's Train Bricks, I don't know, that'd be fantastic because you can then get drive wheels and 3D printed connection rods all in one package. So you can go, here's the wheels I want, here's the rods I want. Fantastic. Um, so yeah, there's also been some Big Ben Bricks wheels. So I've kind of segued into that already. There's for a couple of projects. One I'm going to announce later on in the video. And I eventually bought a value pack, and then some additional ones beyond that as well. Some of it is for LNUR projects, some of it's for my own projects, but I'm keeping some of those cards close to my chest. Suffice to say that the proprietor has been very generous with me. Should we say, because I've had a little bit of an email communication, and I'd like to say thank you, Ben. You know, you didn't have to do that. You could have just said no, but thank you. And the last thing I really want to touch on is some instructions I've bought. Now, these aren't ones from Lego. These are actually custom models from a person named who goes by the moniker of Johnny D. So for those of you who are familiar with his work, he does quite a lot of early 20th and mid 20th century models. Sometimes, generally speaking, hot rods, but do some standard ones as well. So this is one I actually just finished about 10 minutes ago. You'll have to forgive the incorrect coloured parts. This is actually a GMC 1930s cab. I've had to do some part swaps because I don't have the ones in the right colour. But, you know, this is effectively the model. It's not... how would I put it? It's a nice scale. You can't effectively fit the figure in the back because of the way it's been built, but it does look nice. It's got a nice level of detailing. It's possibly got detailing I could improve upon. I'm not saying that it's bad, but there's a couple of little bits that I can probably go to the prototype and go, it's, you know, I could change that a bit. I could change this a bit. You know, just a few minor little tweaks just to get it to that next level of detail, as I always like to do. And I've bought a couple so far. I've bought that GMC 1930s taxi. There's another one I bought, which I think is a New York taxi. So I'll have to see what else he's got on Rebrickable and check what's out on there. So obviously that's kind of wraps up 2019. You know, it's been a great year for me in some respects. I've got quite a lot done. I've finished the gondolas, for example. You know, I hate to harp on about them yet again, but you know, it is, you know, that was a dedicated drive to get the gondolas done, and I did get them done. So that's one less category of Brick Model Railroader models I've yet to do. There is one little outstanding thing on the Reading model because the decals set was missing the second set of technical data, so for loaded weight, unloaded weight, just something I'll need to speak to OK Brickworks about. But I'll probably need to place an order for some more decals anyway, so I can just ask him to, you know, put those in as well. So moving on to, and there's also been events as well. So, you know, it's been a good year for that ish. Hopefully there'll be a few more next year. I'll be a bit more sensible with my spending plans. So be slightly less towards models, slightly more towards events. But that's going to be a 2020 thing. So moving on to 2020 stuff. The next event I'll be going to will be Thirsk. The reason why, you know, I previously alluded to Sheffield one. I actually changed it to Thirsk. The reason I've changed it to Thirsk is because that's a definite LNUR show. So I'm going to have to look into transport for that. I haven't booked the Friday off work. So the whole plan is I'll go up on the Friday, possibly the afternoon, so be in work on the morning, go to travel up on the Friday afternoon, do the show on the Saturday, and then come home either on the Saturday or the Sunday, you know, depending on how it works out. So moving on to sort of stuff for 2020 and what the plans are for 2020, because it's no use looking at the past in 2019 without looking to the future for 2020. So in terms of projects, obviously I want to complete some more Brick Model Railroader cars. There's been quite a few that are in a almost complete stage, or certainly I know what needs to be done but haven't done it yet sort of stage. The Hooker Chemicals tank car is one example. I've got one over there for Union Starch, which is almost complete, save us some detailing on the underframe, so I'm definitely going to try and get that one done. And, you know, it's another one ticked off, or another couple ticked off for simple stuff. There's obviously quite a lot of other stuff I want to do. I want to do the 50-foot PS1 model, which will be lettered for Brick Malroda. So I do have the decal set, but I will need OK Brickworks to create a 50-foot, data set for it. And the other thing, really, the other one I really want to touch on is the steeple cab. Now, the steeple cab has been featured quite heavily in my Instagram feed for one particular reason, is that I wanted to try and get it done. And for those of you who've got an eagle eye, you will notice it's actually over here. And this is actually pretty much complete now, in its current form. I've said repeatedly that it will never be finished as a get-go, because there's always something else to do to it. And there's a couple of things wrong with it in its current state. It won't go around the standard Lego curves at the moment because of the bogey overhang. So I'm going to be knocking that down slightly or changing the underframe. I don't really want to change the underframe because it looks nice. It looks nice and weighty. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably not lop off these bits of the end. So I'll just change it from a 3 long plate to a 2. That'll eliminate this, so it will cut flush to there, which won't look as nice when you're looking at it side on, but hey, if it enables me to go around standard curves, it's a compared to taking these two out, it's actually a nice loss, I believe. The pantograph's finished. That was the last real outstanding piece of the model. There are a few changes to be made to that. Most notably taking in the arms a little bit. You can adjust it if I get my hands correct, because the whole thing is that the it does like to kind of disintegrate on itself a little bit. It's not a proper complete model, so you can kind of adjust it, so that's now a bit more squashed. So there are things I can do to it, increase it by a plate in terms of the bonnet height, because the bonnets do seem a bit low. So that would bring it flush up to the bottom of the windows, which is kind of how they are on the real thing. I possibly might want to change around the pantograph for all this hook and flex tube configuration. I've had numerous issues building this lot, but that's something I can get to on another video. The rest of the model is effectively complete. The only other thing I might want to do about this is changing out this bogie for a 9-volt one, so it's got a couple of motors to it, so it's nice and meaty and powerful. I mean, it's not going to be powerful on one bogie, but obviously, 2 motors are always better than 1. And it also will even out a bit of wear on them as well. So you got that sort of stuff as well. Moving on to LNUR projects. One that you'll probably notice as well, because it's also on that bench, is this. And you might be thinking to yourself, what is this? And this is actually a camera car, or the starts of the camera car. The whole thing is that it's kind of hard to fit a camera car in, because it's not really a standard item. It's not it's not something that looks reasonable. So what this is done, this is actually partly one of the things I was kicking about as an idea for Octramber, and I never got around to it because I didn't have the funds. But this is the start of the camera car, so you'll have 2 medium motors here from the Power Functions line. One will drive this actuator at the bottom here. That is actually the camera up and down pivot, so that's why you've got this rod coming up here. I do need to tighten this up within here, so the rod is a bit more stable. But other than that, it's effectively just acquiring the parts. This is what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in this sort of mixture scheme, because effectively it's using up parts I have in colours I won't need, and then once I've done this physical proving model is done, I'll take it all apart, make it into the digital version as I go, and then I can actually build it in the correct colour, sort of like possibly a light bluish grey, rather than black, which I currently have it as, just so that it shows up a bit better, because quite a lot of the stuff I've built is black, all the locomotives for example. So what else have we got on the list here? Storage is another issue. So partially that is to do with completed models, partially that is to do with parts. So obviously I've got all my bins here. These have served me well, not to say they haven't, but there are a couple of issues. I don't have enough storage for large parts, so they're effectively having to be stored elsewhere. There's not quite enough storage space here. I don't want to go higher, because these are already a little drawers can fall out, and this is sort of the maximum reachable height I can actually do sat down as well. And some of these back here are a bit hard to get to. I can move the chair back obviously from where I am now, but that doesn't really solve the issue of the fact that some of it's unreachable and that sort of stuff. So what the plan is that when these are on offer again in Aldi, which will be towards the end of January, early February, because normally last year we actually started to move towards the new year, whereas before it was towards the end of February. So the plan is actually get another two, probably one of the larger bins, which are off camera here. So we're going to get another one of these, another one of the big drawers, and they're actually going to go there. So these will actually move up slightly by an inch, couple of inches. And then the new units will go there, and then these units, these will get rearranged so it will actually fill up this space here as best as I can. So I'll fill up there. This line will effectively disappear after that, and then I'll have that bit for more storage and that sort of stuff. Because the whole thing is I don't really want to store these in the corner, because that corner is good for using the really useful boxes for the profile bricks, for example, and that sort of stuff. So that's the one thing. The only other thing I'm really going to cover in terms of stuff for 2020, and I've started some of the design work and research already, is I've been challenged by Will, who's a fellow member of LNUR, who actually designed Humorous, which is the Grizzly A3. He's actually challenged me to do a schools class, which is partially the reason why I've placed an order for Big Ben Bricks wheels, but it's something else. So that's going to be using the XXL wheels, which is the first for me. I'm actually going to do that first, so I'm actually preferencing a British model over an American model. It's not something I genuinely do. I mean, in terms of British models that I've done while I've been at LNUR, there's just been the van, which I can actually probably pull up a photo of. And the van is nice, and it's, it's gotten quite a few comments from various people, whether they're into Lego or not, sort of like, oh, it's a Thomas and Friends van, and it's good from that perspective, but I haven't actually done anything which will, effectively, yeah, it's great, but it's just another, wagon or a car, effectively. It's not a big ticket item, if you like, so that's another reason to go for it. I don't know whether it'll be powered or not. It's the wheel, if I'm building it to my sort of like the pen lug sort of scale, which is the scale I prefer to build in, it will be a 6 wide ish model. I think it sort of scales out to be 6.4 studs in width. So it's not even really 6 bricks plus a tile on its side sort of width. It's a bit of an odd size. So I'll probably just be building it in 6 wide, just because it's a bit easier from that perspective. And then it will also fit in because I'll just be doing the basics rods, so the connecting rods and the drive rod from the cylinders. So I'll just simplify it a lot. I'm just effectively taking it to a back to basic sort of thing, so it looks good. It's got the correct size, almost correct size wheels. I mean, the XXLs are a bit too big, but they're it's closer to XXL than it is to XL, shall we say. So it'll be interesting to do that. And then obviously that is actually going to be built, surprise surprise, in black. Then the reason for doing it in black is that although black, I'm kind of getting bored of it for American models. For British models, I don't think we actually have anything black on the layout, with the exception of an 08. And there's certainly no steam engines in black. So it's going to be in Southern Railways Sunshine black livery. So it'll be all black, and then you've got the Sunshine lettering on the tender, and then the Sunshine font number on the cab side as well. So it'll look quite nice. I think really that covers everything that's has gone on in 2019 and will be going on in 2020. I will try and do some more events. I won't be doing Wally again. You know, I've been this year, but I won't be going again next year. And I think I still need to do part 3 for that. I'm not sure. I'll need to have a check. But yeah, that's it for now. And, you know, hopefully I'll see you next year. And that's it for now. So, bye until 2020.
And a happy new year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
And as one side note, I've worked out a new gear mechanism. So this will be what will be my future model. So a free Christmas bonus.
Good tidings for Christmas and a happy